Welcome to the Triple Takeover Toycast, a fortnightly podcast all about Transformers and occasionally other toy brands as well, but tonight very much is about Transformers. My name is Sixo, but more on that later because I'm joined by my glorious co-hosts. We've got Liam from Toybox Soapbox and Jason from J-Swags.
Well, you're not taking this from me.
I knew
do that again.
You were going to cut in there with a little... You want to do your what-ho?
I'm not a flipping caricature here. You could be saying anything.
Are you not?
I could have been saying anything. You don't take this from me.
What did you have for breakfast this morning, Liam?
No comment, but let's...
Right,
I had a really nice jam donut. So.
All right. Oh, I thought you were going to say hash browns.
But I had something healthy. Oatmeal and raisin cookie as well.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
balanced
no,
out.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Is that a balanced diet, is it? Oatmeal and then a donut.
Covering the food groups.
Okay, right. So you want introducing again, do you? So you can do your what? Okay. Liam from Toybox Soapbox.
What? Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. There you go.
Good God.
He's got so many of these.
You know, this will be someone's first episode of this podcast. They'll have never heard us before. They'll have logged in, and by this point, they're like, "What have I signed up for?"
Yeah. Who is
the
Sixo guy depriving everybody else of talking?
The bants.
Yeah,
that was the good times. The what ho hos. Oh dear.
The what ho ho.
The what ho ho hos.
That's the Christmas one, guys.
I know.
That is. Spoiler.
This is like the fourth year running. He's going to make that joke as well. Jason, how you doing?
Hello.
Jason from J-Swags, also known as J Balls, J Tits, various other things. Yeah.
Wow.
Giles. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with jswags.com. Visit my website.
If he was a deer, it could be a J Stags.
J Stags.
Ooh,
yeah. There we go. Yeah, J Stag.
J Stags.
J Stag.
Wow.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm really good. Yes, I'm very good. I'm excited for this one tonight. This is my kind of jam. I might even get the names right. Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about tonight, Jason?
Mini Autobots from 1986.
Wrong.
No.
Absolutely wrong.
I'm sorry. It's good, but it's not right.
Yeah.
I think you'll find it's mini vehicles, Jason.
They are officially mini vehicles. I'm going to call them Minibots, though. I'm going to sit in between this sort of wrongery, whatever Jason's got going on there, and Liam's very staunch, sticking to the official vernacular. I'm gonna go with the kind of more colloquial Minibots. Because they are to many people, they're
Jason.
Minibots.
Look at him; he's always on the fence. You can see the pain in his face from all the splinters from that.
Yeah. Well, I see both sides. You see, I see both sides of the argument. You know, and that way I can never be wrong.
From the middle,
You're on social doing the same thing, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Just plant myself right in the middle,
Mr. Sixoland over there instead of Switzerland.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like a really ineffectual centrist, just kind of never right or wrong. Just, always got the smartest thing to say in any situation. Don't stick my neck out. That's just how you get through life, isn't it?
And collecting all of Transformers as we're all fighting over what Mini Autobots are called.
Even as an actual car.
Wow! Yeah,
yeah.
That was quite a development in the old collecting. Yeah, when you move on from toy cars, you got to get yourself, an actual Transformer in real car form.
Can I say the Blue Streak on Blue Streak was a genius? That was such a great photo.
Thank you.
That was such a great photo.
It was.
Yeah,
it's the ultimate flex. It really is.
It was brilliant.
Flexo is
brilliant.
back.
Yeah. Well, so it's worth saying for anybody that hasn't seen it, I have got myself a Subaru Impreza, which is awesome, and it's something that I've wanted for the last 20 years, I think.
Cool.
So yeah, Blob Eye as well. That's the particular, the design of the headlights and everything. That particular era of Subaru Impreza.
I'd like to say I'm impressed, Sixo, but that don't impress me much.
Hey, there we go.
Very good.
Hey, look at
very
that.
Good.
I know.
There you go. So yeah, it's been great driving it around. Honestly, that baby
cool.
roars like nothing else. So
I'll need to get Sunstreaker now. And
do it.
Oh, I could just get Action Master Megatron because that's
you
the
could
same
do, yeah.
car.
Just sit on the front, drive around. That, as we know, is a Lamborghini.
It's a Lamborghini
as well.
Countach.
Yeah,
exactly. I know. Yeah. I found myself in the Lego store today, actually, in Edinburgh.
Looking at the white one,
the Lamborghini Countach that they've released as well, and I was this close to getting it.
I'm tempted.
I was a good boy. It looks very nice.
I'm tempted by that. It does look amazing. If they made a Lego Impreza, it would have to be done.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be brilliant. Yeah.
That would
have to be. It was an amazing photo. That was very cool.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, you guys can ride around in it coming up when you come to stay. So
I am very excited for that.
Pre-TFN. Love it. Meow.
We'll go and do some handbrake turns somewhere. Be a bunch of boy racers.
I know, exactly. The stereotypes. Exactly. Yeah. Sit in a car park just revving it. That's all you do.
Yeah. Can't wait. But before we get to all of that, we should mention that we do have a sponsor for the evening, and that is tfsource.com. So do check them out for your Transformers and third-party needs. And we do have a bit of a Patreon as well. And we're going to talk more about our Patreon a little bit later and kind of go into all of that. But one thing that you will be able to get, which will have happened actually by the time this episode goes live, is our TFN panel, because that is coming up for us. But as I say, by the time this episode goes live, it will have already happened, but we will be putting that up on our Patreon as well. So that's pretty exciting. If you do want to see the panel that we are doing and somehow did at TFN.
Wow, we're speaking for our future selves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Future selves, then, you can get on our Patreon and check it out. And
it's going to be good.
Hope and believe it went well.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. I hope you did.
I believe they will and did.
Wow.
Exactly.
You've cursed it now. They're going to
hate it.
Yeah. I know everyone leaves.
They listen to this furious going, I want my money back. Like, what money?
Yeah.
Well, tonight we are here to talk Minibots. Or mini Autobots, or mini vehicles, whatever you want to call them, except
vehicles,
not mini Autobots, because that's wrong. But we are here to talk about 1986.
Any Autobot that small would be a mini Autobot.
That's true, actually.
No, they're Micromasters. Even I know that.
But they're still mini Autobots. This is a very distinct group, like Micromasters.
Yeah.
Mini vehicles.
Group unto itself. But we are here to talk about the 1986 roster. We've already done 1984, and we've done 1985. As episodes and minisodes, so you can check those out. And we've already done episodes on the full 1986 range, but it really felt like these...
I mean, we've already done half of this episode. Let's just...
Well, were we going to mention that?
Yeah, we're not going to mention that. No, we're not going to mention that.
Well, did someone forget to press record?
Yeah, Jason, you forgot to mention the light wasn't on, didn't you?
The light's not on. The light is green, the trap is
even better this time.
I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around on that score, I think.
Yes, plenty.
Plenty of blame. Lots of blame to go around. No one person in particular, Jason.
We could never recover that episode ever because it wasn't recorded.
Unrecoverable. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a full episode.
It wasn't. 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
36.
Look at him.
36
minutes of my life I'll never get back.
The best
two of us recorded our local tracks, didn't we, Jason? So me and you knew exactly what time it was.
Yeah. Look, man, if you want to come over here and do all of the organisation of the pod and everything, and then, be berated for one tiny mistake, then, go for it. We can swap those roles.
Far away, so
backpedal.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah. Notice how you've gone quiet on that score all of a sudden. Anyway, let's get on to it with Minibots. So we have already talked about 1986 toys. I think it'd be fun to come and do these little tiny Transformers because, God love them, they're brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some of the best Transformers toys.
Yeah. Great.
Now, where would you guys rank these versus the other years? Because we know 1985 is peak, right? Like that's number one.
You can't touch that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. But versus 84, what do we think?
Well, there's some pretty standout favourites of mine in this line. And it is definitely a nostalgia part to it as well, because one of them I got when I got Bumblebee, then I got one of the ones from this line as well, which was Outback. But there's some great ones that I had, like Pipes as well. He's an absolute fave.
He's pretty good.
Really nice.
Of the 3 years, it's my third best year, but that's no shade because they're all great years. But 85, I think, is so pinnacle of what the mini vehicles could be, and 84 is perfect for what it was, and 86 is almost as great. It's not bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just I think those other two are so hard to follow, and especially when it is a lot of those other molds back again in slightly different colours.
This is the thing. I mean, you've got here 5 amazing retools and 5 amazing toys, and then Wheelie, and who we will talk about later.
You don't like him, do you?
We'll talk about him later. We'll talk about him later. We'll get to Wheelie. There's plenty of time for that.
I like Wheelie.
Sure.
I'm the one guy who does.
Sure. Yeah, he's also there.
Do you know what? All right. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. So one of the weird things about Wheelie is I really distinctly remember where I was, where I got that from, and everything about getting it, because it's such a weird toy. It's such a weird time.
It's such a crushing disappointment, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that's it.
I remember the robot mode was, but the car mode is cool.
The car mode is cool. I'll grant you that. This toy gets the car mode right. The robot mode is god awful, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like it's
a horror show.
Yeah,
it's an absolute.
Is this what we're starting this episode?
I think we
with?
are.
Are we into it?
It's coming with controversy. It's like a dude wearing, I don't know, like a long t-shirt for bed or like a nightie or something.
It really
it's
is.
Just like looks like in his slippers underneath, and then he's drooped down, and it's such a weird thing because the way the windscreen folds up. This is where the idea of the cap comes from, in the cartoon, isn't it? Yeah. And so once you clock that the cartoon is doing that, you sort of work it backwards to the toy, and then you look at the toy and go, if it's meant to be a cap, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
None of it works at all.
I think this was probably done sort of in conjunction with the animation at that time, because a lot of these movie characters were designed in that way, where it was like their animation models kind of drawn first, and then the toys kind of retro-engineered out of that. And you see that a little bit with like Cyclonus and Galvatron and those sorts of things. I don't know what happened here, honestly. I mean, the result is just baffling and not in a good way. And we know, we've talked in the last episode about wheelie toys and said how hard it is to kind of capture the animation model, but this is not it. I mean,
it's just awful.
Thing. It's just bad.
Do you know what it is for me? Is it looks like they have cut. So they've flayed someone like a human's face.
Good God.
And then cut it off and stuck it onto the cockpit of a car. It just looks like a bloodied face to me. It's horrible.
Dark,
it looks like one of those computer-generated faces. You used to see it all the time, like the late 80s, early 90s.
Lawnmower Man.
The Lawnmower Man, or
it's
like
exactly
the Primus
like
face, that kind of thing. With all the little angles and that sort of thing. But man, it doesn't land at all. But there's just something. It's so weird. It's almost endearing to me. I don't know what it is. I think it's kind of like the shapes of it are strange, but all the mini vehicles are like this in that they have got kind of weird angles and shapes. Like if you go back to Warpath, who is one of the most elite tier Transformers to ever exist, when you initially look at him, you're like, it's got like one giant foot here and it's a little bit this and that, and then they've all got their own kind of weirdness to him, and his is just kind of an all round. It kind of looks a bit like it's from the Abyss. There's kind of like weird arms that's kind of like chicken goujons, that kind of thing. Kind of
chicken goujons, my God. It's so accurate.
Look at his little creepy tiny fist on his fist.
Well, I had to point this out. Yeah. Why this? Honestly, the little drawn, like molded fist on the inside of the arm is awful. Yeah. Honestly, it's such a lastminute.com job, isn't it? I know.
Totally. It's like, this is a hand, everybody, apron. Just so you know.
His little, like, his waist looks like he's wearing a tiny apron.
It really does.
Funny. Everything about it.
And does he have? I've really never noticed this now because I'm just pinch zooming into the detail here, but the kind of textured shins going on.
No, they're pretty glossy. I think that's just the light that you're seeing. Yeah, it's just the light you're seeing.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because I remember it just being a very shiny, very
just smooth shins.
It's that weird softer plastic, though, isn't it?
It is.
Again, it's another thing that makes him feel so alien to the other toys.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Is he stands out by a country mile in this lineup of Minibots. And I think in 1986, pretty holistically. I mean, like, he sort of works if you put him next to, like, Blur a little bit. And, like, a Cup, like, maybe Cup. In that he's kind of got the bright colours. And, it kind of works with them. Maybe Wreck-Gar to a sort of extent, but not really. Like, because Wreck-Gar's got the chrome and things like that. But I don't know. It does feel different to pretty much every other Transformers toy to me.
I'll tell you what, though. If you chromed his legs and told me he was a GoBot, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to say, I when this came out, and if I hadn't seen the tampos on it, I hadn't seen the stickers on it, I would have thought this is a GoBot.
Very unfortunately placed sticker, by the way.
As well, I know.
On his pinny.
It's like, what?
Glad you said pinny accurately there.
Yes, I had to wrestle with it right. But I found it hilarious, though, that the Autobot logo goes directly above
The Autobot logo. There's two of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But this is it, yeah.
There's just something about it. It's so strange. I mean, the robot mode is terrible, but there's this kind of like, you look at it and go, it's so far removed from anything else in that toy line. Even stuff like the Power Dashes and stuff, that looks way out there compared to anything else. This, of all things, just really stands out.
Genuinely, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I think it, for me, is the worst Generation 1 toy. Like, genuinely, I believe that.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. Like, even stuff like the Power Dashers, which I know people, rag on or whatever, I would say that they have their charm. They have like...
They're not bad toys though, are they? That's the...
No, they're not.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they are. I think they're good. They do what they set out to do, Whereas you can't really say that of Wheelie in a weird way, because he's worse than all the other Minibots. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've seen what a good Minibot looks like by this stage, many of them, and Wheelie does not fit that same level to me.
No.
Okay, so imagine this toy had been released in 1984 and it had come from Diaclone. And so even if it had the same animation model or similar animation model, but it came from Diaclone, do you think you'd look at it in the same way? Or do you think there's a kind of an element of, at this point, we're so used to the cartoon and we knew the film, and this is a movie character and this is a new toy?
Yeah.
So you sort of look at it and your first thought is it looks nothing like the cartoon. Whereas when we look at the other toys, you go, Diaclone, the cartoon doesn't look like the toys, versus the other way around.
It's a fair challenge, and I would say no. Only because, as you know, I've lumped a bit of criticism on Gears before as well, so I think I would be objective enough to be able to say...
You were wrong then as well, to be fair.
This stands out. I'm not wrong now, do you know what I mean? I'm very much in the right here, Let's not rewrite history, Liam. But I think I could be objective enough to say it would stand out in 80... I think even more in 84 in a weird way. Because it would be devoid of the context of, like, it's a movie toy. And...
When I look at it, I think it would have made more sense if it had been released in 84 as like a mail away, as like a weird one of those extra Takara ones that doesn't fit anywhere else. Because it's obviously a space age kind of car, isn't it? A sci-fi car.
Yeah.
But the robot mode, it just always has looked to me, even when I was a kid and I picked up on it, it looks unfinished. It's just the shapes of it. Like, there's no consistency to it. You can't see what they're going for, because obviously they've put the hand in where they've drawn it on the side of the inside of the palm, but then the rest of the arms again just look like, I don't know, breadsticks or chicken goujons or something like that. They're orange on the bottom, so it looks like they've been dipped in tomato ketchup. It's just kind of
wrong. His little knock knees and his
clogs.
The fact that his clogs. The fact that he can't actually stand up worth a damn. He's constantly toppling over. Yeah. One of the toys that topples the most on my shelves, I will say.
He's always in alt mode for me. Yeah. Do you know the thing is? I think that at this point, if you go on that basis of like, but if it was Diaclone and all this kind of stuff, but Hasbro would have been like, no, we're not including that one.
We'll leave that one,
which is what happened with the mailaways, like you said, Liam, as well. And also, I have a little story about Wheelie, a personal story, that when I started freelancing for a company and came in and they had this like internal network forum thing they set up, they had to give me a name to use as a username to get access. And these guys were all, there was quite a lot of them were Transformers fans, and they set my username up as Wheelie, which everybody knew.
Did it Wheelie annoy you?
Yeah. Nobody likes Wheelie.
Wheelie bad.
It's Wheelie bad.
Did you have to type in rhyme constantly?
Yeah, exactly.
When I look at him, I always think he reminds me of like a knockoff foreign holiday knockoff of like T-Bob, from Mask.
Yeah.
Because he's got the round dome head, and
he's very T-Bob.
It's the way the face floats in the body. There's no other Transformer like that. But the car mode's
good. The robot mode looks like a urinal.
Yeah, it does.
Look like a urinal.
Let's be honest, it looks like a urinal. There's no other way to describe it.
An egg on legs, isn't it? It's an egg on legs.
It's just awful.
So this is the thing. In alt mode, which is how Wheelie stays in my collection, because I'm too embarrassed to put him in robot mode, and also I've got glass shelves in my display and he just slides over all over the place.
Yeah.
But I remember one time when I got the Titans Return RC figure, and I was taking some photos with her in the shot, and I got G1 Wheelie and put him in the background for a bit of depth and stuff, and actually he was blurry in the background, but it actually had a really nice silhouette. Yeah. And the car mode does have a nice silhouette about it.
The car mode is excellent.
It fits the bill for that, doesn't it? That's the thing. And the colours, like you said earlier.
I would love it if somebody could make one that looked like the animation. Do you know the movie?
Totally.
Like I love his car mode.
Yeah.
When you see him transform on Quintessa, and it's all that hyper detail on the inside of the cockpit and all that sort of stuff, and you're like,
it's beautiful.
It's a wicked looking device. But this toy as well, it does have one cool feature: the wheels. You look at those wheels, and you know the wheels, don't you?
The pinned ones.
Yeah. There's just this memory of them, this feeling. And I know other people have the same thing. Whenever I mention wheelie on Twitter or post a picture of the toy, people always go, "Oh man, I remember those wheels." It's just one of those things about this toy. Yeah, it's a thing.
It's like quite a tactile thing.
Yeah. It's just
you can just
this
spin
kind
them,
of
can't
pinned
you?
little wheels. Yeah, they use them on Micromasters as well, don't they? A lot, these kind of wheels.
Yeah, with the pins and that. That's interesting. Yeah, I do think the car mode is obviously the successful part of this. I do think that actually the placement of the rub sign here is not great either. I think the car mode would look way cleaner without the rub sign at all, frankly. I think it's just a very unfortunate placement of it all round. But, that aside, the car mode is pretty great. So, now, have either of you seen the big wheelie?
Yes.
The prototype?
The big... Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have, yes.
Have you seen this?
Yes, yeah.
I'll drop a picture in our chat, and of course, for the benefit of patrons, we will share this on our Discord as well. So, but public listeners, you can Google this, the prototype.
Look at the difference in it, man. Look at the car mode. See, that is way closer to the movie.
It really is.
But it's got blur. It's got blur kind of transformation going on here, though, doesn't it, as well?
It's such a weird prototype.
It is, but it makes sense of a lot of the art we've seen in like the little storybooks and stuff, because they use this kind of model for him, and that's what I've always thought about this. And it's not great, but it's way better, and you can see it's more in line with the movie and other things.
Very much so. I prefer this, obviously. I think the robot mode looks better. I think the big thing to mention here is the size of it, because there's obviously a picture with someone's hand, and you can see that the car mode is not far off the sort of size of that person's palm. So it's like significantly bigger
to length, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think this would be bigger than like Sideswipe, for example.
I think it would be than a normal Autobot car. Yeah, totally.
Big toy. I think you're looking at I don't know. What sort of size do we think for the robot mode? Like Retgar almost?
Possibly. Could do.
Because that car mode is big, and then that robot mode is mostly that car mode extended, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
It's weird to say that this might have actually ended up, because there weren't that many big G1 toys at this point. I mean, I'm looking across at my shelves. You're looking at something that wouldn't be too far off, almost like blaster size, dare I say, which is ridiculous to think that this is, for wheelie. So it really would have stood out. I mean, it's also almost like Beast Machine's Night Scream levels of scale inaccurate with anything else. But I admire it. I think it's a really cool piece. And, this prototype and everything. It's just fascinating.
I'm interested in the cockpit here, because obviously it's got the glass cockpit. But on the robot mode, I can't tell if the piece is in place. It's obviously the same place, like the head is there and all that. But I just can't. It looks like it might be there in the car mode, but I can't tell. I
know what you mean.
Would it have been a head in a jar all the way through it? It's very GoBot-like again.
Have they flipped it? Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't
it?
No,
the face is still up in the vehicle mode, looking forward.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, totally. I see it there.
There's nothing to go on to hide it or anything like that, which it makes me wonder a change. Does Raz own this by any chance?
I suspect he might.
Yeah, really?
I have a suspicion of that.
Eventually.
I have a suspicion of that he might do. Yeah, I was just thinking as I was talking about it, is this a Raz piece or not?
That'd be interesting.
We'll be able to ask him soon, because he's coming on for a mini-series, isn't he? So we'll be able to
definitely ask him.
We're going to see him at the weekend.
we're going to see him.
Yeah.
Well, we will have seen him as well for this last weekend.
Oh, time travel again.
Yeah, the time travel.
So at this point, we've seen him, we've asked him, we just can't tell.
We've already got the answer, but we don't know it just yet. But yeah, we are having Raz, we can now say, because we will have and have confirmed at TFN that this is happening, but we are having Raz on for a bit of a mini-series talking about prototypes and things like that, so that's going to be pretty exciting for patrons anyway.
I'm very excited for that. But just going quickly back to this toy before we have to move on. So, I know they must have been told, obviously, because this is the larger size version, so it was never intended to be this big. This was the mock-up, and then it was going to be scaled down. But to scale it down to that and change it to such a degree, it's so far off what it was intended to be like. You know what I mean? It's like
there's no way they could get that level
shape, isn't it? And that's about it.
Yeah.
Was it intended to be scaled down, though? I mean, I know that is a thing that happens with prototypes, and and it's like usually, a concept piece. But
at this stage, isn't it? They're always made. I can't remember what they call them. Raz told us there was a name for them, but they're made a few sizes up.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's not to say that it would have been that they built this intending it to go all the way down to Minibot size, and the sort of size that it was. I mean, it may have just intended to be either the size that we see here or something in between. I don't know.
I think it's a little bit intricate for that size. The way you look at the way the hands pop out and the feet and stuff like that, and the amount of joints in it. Like it's got knees, elbows. It's got a lot of joints. That feels a little bit more than your regular Minibots.
Totally think so. Yeah.
And when you look at the wheels, there's just something about it.
Well, that was the thing about the wheels. That kind of gives you an idea of the size of it as well. Because when I look at that wheel that's got the black tire at the back, that makes me think Prime trailer wheel size there, which is pretty big.
I get simplifying it down to this smaller pocket money sized toy, but it's lost everything, hasn't it? There's not any part of it you look at and go, okay, that makes sense. Other than the wheels, because
you can imagine at the time though they had like obviously Cup, Blur, Hot Rod, and they were working out which ones are going to be your kind of what we would now call deluxe size, and then your mini Autobots size, and then that was it. That was just like
vehicles.
Yeah, Wheelie just wasn't a fan favourite, wasn't a big enough character, so he got downgraded.
I mean, it makes sense that he is one of the smallest toys because he is one of the smallest characters, and it does fit in that regard.
Basically human-sized, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
It just makes me wonder if part of the reason he's so bad is this compromise they obviously went through, and whether there was a time pressure where they've gone, we can't do this, but he's in a film, he's going to be an important character, he's got to have a toy, so we've got to shrink something down, so that's why so many corners feel like they've been cut, like the weird floaty face, the
floaty face is a thing.
Yeah, that's the horror show.
It all feels very unfinished, and I wonder if that's why.
That face and the flip-up visor gimmick, for me, I know you mentioned about the wheels, to me that is the really kind of tactile memory part of this toy. Like I remember seeing it as a kid and just being like,
screaming,
what is this? I mean, just the way you flip up the little visor and you're like, I was not prepared for that. I mean,
and the visor looks like a thumbnail as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Yeah, I think even as a kid I thought that. But of course, on the reissue, they actually did paint the face grey with like blue eyes and things, so which makes it look significantly better.
Polishing the turd.
Yeah, well, yeah, but at least it doesn't look like, what was it you said, Jason? Like they'd skin someone's face.
Flayed them.
They flayed them and then just pasted the remnants of the face on.
It looks like when you see those pictures of like Brits when it's a real sunny day and they've all gone bright red.
Exactly
that's what he looks
totally
like.
Is that? Yeah, Brits and Benidorm.
He's a tango man.
Yeah. Let's get off this horror show and go to a nicer character.
We should do, because this is what we've done exactly what I didn't want to do, which is come in with the big hater energy. I know it's Jason's favourite thing, that I know, but I was like really concerned that this would just turn into like a kick fest, which it inevitably has been. And now those people that this is their first episode ever, they're going to be like, God, these guys
are nice. Yeah,
but I like the wheels.
But they would all agree because they'll know that Wheelie's terrible
if they've seen it.
I'm very positive about the wheels.
Yeah, exactly, and the alt mode as well. But let's bring it to a nice robot. And a nice car mode.
Can we talk about Pipes?
Yeah, okay.
I need to talk about my boy Pipes because I feel like we need to go
now you're just bringing in the trauma. None of this is too soon.
Oh, I know.
Different pipes. He's not being stepped on here. You're fine.
Stepped on.
You're fine. It's a shame they didn't step on Wheelie, isn't it? But honestly, let's talk about Pipes and let's talk about seat boobs. Because this guy...
What is it with you with your boobs on robots?
Well...
boobs,
isn't it? But I don't know. The fact that he's got seat boobs has always stuck out for me as just a kind of incredible little bit of design.
He's just cold. Leave him alone.
Right. Exactly. Maybe so. I love this toy.
I heard he was pansexual. That's why it's called Panpipes.
Panpipe. Oh,
bloody hell, Liam.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Good Lord. It gets worse. It gets worse as the years roll on. That's
just
the thing.
Encouraging it now, aren't we?
That's the problem. And he's doing his own little drum rolls now. Have you noticed? He does his own little thing.
Picking it up. It's good.
Look, it was a spur of the moment decision. And I was like, oh, that's fun.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Panpipes, like the little...
Yeah,
we know.
We got it. We got
Celine
it.
Dion, Titanic on Panpipes and all that.
Step on you in a minute, honestly. Anyway, Pipes is pretty great. So I had this toy as a kid. Loved it. Yeah. I didn't have Huffer. So to me, this was my first kind of experience of this mold. But it's one common thread of these 1986 Minibots is that actually, although they are retools, they're pretty extensive, aren't they? And I think that's really nicely exemplified with this.
Yeah.
Even now, when you look at them side by side, it's not really that much in common, is there?
No, totally. And I'm in exactly the same space as you. I didn't have Huffer. I got Pipes first. I coveted this figure, actually. I really loved it. I loved it for lots of different reasons. But there was one thing that I remember really well. I love the head sculpt. It gives me Cylon from Battlestar Galactica vibes about it, which I really like, that kind of visor. But it was... do you remember when you extend his legs and it has that kind of double click to them as you pull it down? It's really...
kind of go out to the side almost.
Yeah, really, exactly. Really tactile. And then also his cab when it goes back and clicks into position as well.
Yeah.
And it just felt really solid. Pull his arms out. It was really tactile, really fun to transform it. Exactly what a mini Autobot I love about them. These little fiddle formers that I like. And a really lovely alt mode, which those kind of trundly plastic tires as well, that are pinned. Just a great fun. Really great.
Yeah.
And heavy remolding, though, which I didn't quite realise.
Yeah, it's the fact that on Huffer, the cab is sort of almost like a hood, over the top of his head, whereas here it just sits on it, on behind his head. And it's interesting for me, this, because we've talked before about I think we talked in the 1985 Minibots discussion about the fact that a lot of the sort of third-party masterpiece-styled attempts at these characters, these Minibots, mini vehicles, mini Autobots, whatever you want to call them. I think the fact they sort of...
The right thing.
Slightly larger than how they are here. They often kind of lose the charm of these originals. And I think the Pipes is a good example of that because there was that Bad Cube one that just had the back of the cab just jutting right off his, some huge
just
backpack or
massive
whatever.
Kibble. Yeah,
and it's like you're trying to. I get it's a challenge. They're trying to interpret something from the animation, whatever else, but it's done so superbly well here in this format and at pocket money size. It's just brilliant.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that it has that real kind of Japanese design quality about it, which is like this kind of really cutesy. Over-exaggerated parts to it, really short kind of wheelbase to it with a big chunky cab front.
Yeah, it's the chibi thing, yeah.
Exactly, and as soon as you try and make that into an
chibi.
Chibi.
We've had this conversation, we discovered I was right, chibi.
Yes, AI told you on the internet that you were
AI,
right, didn't it?
That's it. Yeah, don't rely on that.
Always a reliable source.
Yeah. But it has that really nice quality about it, which just makes it, if you try and make that into an MP scale and make it into a kind of proper scaled truck, as you said, Sixo, it loses its kind of the fun factor.
I think so. Fans Toys did a pretty good stab at it, I will say. I do like their take, but there's still nothing that quite touches this original for me, and it's the same with a number of these toys, as we'll kind of go through. I mean, again, just coming back to Huffer and the differences, it's the way that sort of truck, the front part of it, the cab sort of sits differently to the kind of hood on Huffer. I think is cool. I like the fact that the arms are essentially the other way around, and that they're kind of like pipes now, like guns almost, instead of like salad forks or whatever that's on Huffer. And it just gives it a very different vibe. Remolded head, remolded chest with the seats, which is cool. Seat boobs.
Even the positioning of the Autobot logo, I think, as well. Yeah. Like behind it, it's a big Autobot logo on Pipes. And it looks great.
Hidden in vehicle? Oh, actually, no, it's not. It's on the back of the cab.
Yeah, it's on the back. It's slightly obscured. I think it's slightly obscured by one of the smokestacks when it's in that
hidden
mode.
from directly facing on to the vehicle or from above.
Yes, that works. That does work. Lovely figure. Definitely up there as one of my favourites.
Still got the little M moulding on the side as well. The little Muffy and the Mysterians. I think it's a double M actually on this guy, which is interesting. But honestly, one of the best for me. And I think a real good example of how they took those 1984 originals and retooled them so successfully, which they didn't need to do as well. I think this is the thing that I really want to kind of capture at this point, is that if this happened now, they wouldn't get this extensive kind of retooling for a toy this size. It would just be a recolor, honestly.
Goes to show you, though, just a little bit of effort, like just a couple of small tweaks, and you get what feels like a different toy.
Very much so.
Because he'd look so different because of all these little bits. And it wouldn't have taken much work for them to do this. It basically just reversed, how you transform him. It's the back, basically, isn't it?
Totally.
And it just popped the stuff on there. And it's just all of these Minibots, mini vehicles. Minibots is acceptable, to be fair. That's accurate. But all of them, they all have these little extra tiny touches, and it's that kind of thing. And I think we miss that sometimes. I mean, we get a bit more of it now, but there was a whole stretch of time where characters would just be recolors of other characters, and you're like, it's just missing this little tiny touch. And it just shows you don't have to do that much to make a big change. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
What's interesting with Pipes as well is that he's got like his Autobot decal as a sticker, and that's it. There's quite a few in this line that have their other kind of stickers and additional parts to it as well, but all his stuff is molding on him.
Yeah,
as well,
it's true, actually. It's true.
It's quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, very predominantly blue.
Yeah.
Fantastic visor as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, brilliant. Love it. Yeah,
very nondescript.
It's cool.
I mean, have you guys seen, Liam, I'm sure you have the puffer version. There's obviously two versions. There's a Mexican variant and the European one. But have you seen this, Jason?
I'd be surprised if I've not, but drop it in. It's not ringing. The name's not ringing a bell.
So this is basically a blue Pipes. There's a couple of different versions of this, and it does depend.
Blue
it does depend which country you cropped up in. But it's, regardless of the version, they're all kind of similar in theme. In that it's basically Huffer in blue, to sort of look like Pipes. But again, I really love this. I would love to track down this variant one day. I think Maz has, cool. Is very proudly has one. But, it just shows you what we kind of could have had, if that makes sense. Totally. What you would have expected that we might have got, which is just a straight up blue Huffer.
Yeah, the cab grill is different as well, isn't it?
That's true, actually, yeah.
It's only just now that the first time I ever clocked that the cab grill on Huffer and on Pipes sticks out, whereas this one's flat, isn't it? With sort of grating.
Yeah, more prominent sort of little lights and things as well. They're very, very different, honestly, very different.
Do you know the big difference? And I remember this is when I did get my Huffer G1 toy. I was a wee bit disappointed because it's the way that the transformation happens on Pipes, in that his shoulders sit down and, as they would do kind of anatomically, whereas Huffer's are up and over above him. So he's kind of looks like he's trying to do a clumsy magic trick all the time.
Yeah.
And it always just looked odd.
It's the best description ever. Yeah. A clumsy magic trick. And I know exactly what you mean.
Shazam. It's just really bad.
It's Paul Daniels as a truck.
Yeah. Whereas, Pipes' stance is just really good. He looks great.
It is good. It looks more natural. And again, one thing I do want to also mention at this point is the some of the prototypes of some of these toys as well.
Yeah.
Because there was a rather famous now, I think it's gone around in the internet circles a little bit. There was a pre-Toy Fair catalogue from 1986. Now, I've written an article on this before. On tfsource.com, so you can find that if you want to look up about 1986 prototypes, an article there. And there's pictures of some of these toys in there, and the Minibots and that. But check out this for a Pipes prototype. Quite different.
Oh, whoa. He's got... I like those smokestacks.
If you've ever seen any of my photography, this is where it comes from.
Right.
Exactly. These catalogues, it's this little dash of light.
Big rocks and the light. Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
That prototype is just delicious, isn't it?
That's really interesting. There's a lot going on with the cab there, isn't there? What they've done.
Hand-painted as well, isn't it?
It's definitely hand-painted, with his big red face. And a little sticker.
Totally.
See it practically dripping, can't you?
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. You can kind of see it sits in between Huffer and what we ended up getting. I think.
It's true. Very different to what we got, but sort of somewhere in between. I think what is interesting, actually, is that you can see that the legs on Pipes are obviously a very direct retool of what we got on Huffer. With the mechanism, the sliding mechanism with the thighs and stuff is the same, whereas here it's a completely new mold. So clearly this was made as like a little, proof of concept or whatever.
Would but what they've done though is that they've turned him around. In the Huffer's, if you look at him, his heels are what is Pipes' toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all been turned around. And that's why we don't get the upside down magic hands going on with Pipes as well.
It's basically just the back.
Yeah, it is the back, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel better now that we've kind of come back from wheelie and kind of found, that there is actually some stuff to love here. Yeah.
So was that a bit of a pipe cleaner then?
It was, yeah. It was a pipe dream, let's say.
The pipes of peace.
Okay. Very good. Where do we want to go from here then?
I'd like to talk about Tailgate, actually.
Would you?
Yeah, I would,
choice,
because
sir.
I want to talk about. I'm going to go right in for the face sculpt on Tailgate, and it's one of my favourite face sculpts on any Transformer, let alone a mini Autobot as well.
Vehicle.
Loving that. He's got the little kind of side bits going on there. He's got like a grill across his mouth. There's so many different things. It's just, it's a great head sculpt. It's a great, and my Wind Charger, who did I get first? I can't remember now. Oh, I only have the keyring version of Wind Charger, actually. So I got Tailgate first. And that little car mode, that was great. Take that to school, pop it in your pocket, zoom, zoom, zoom. Happy days for me. I love it. I love it as a figure. Really cool.
This is an interesting one because on the face of it, it's not as different from Wind Charger as Pipes is from Huffer. There's not as much kind of extensive remolding. In that, like the car mode basically looks the same.
They look the same, totally.
Yeah, a different colour. Just white instead of red, but still really nice. It's the robot mode that's got more of the detail that is different. I mean, the legs are the same, but it's the main body and the face, isn't it? Is where it all happens, and it just works so well. The face is brilliant.
The face is exceptional. It's a real standout for, like Jason says, it's his favourite, but it is genuinely right up there as one of the best, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, made even better again on the reissue, I think, with this one because of the blue visor. The fact that they actually painted the visor, it just really brings it to life.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's getting across the fact that, these are little figures, right, that we've got here as well. And I think that was it. It was a big step away from what we'd had previously. He's got a really interesting kind of, always makes me think of a stereo system, his sticker on his chest.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad you said it. I love the little, it's like a DJ console,
like
isn't it? With the little slide up dials and things like that.
Graphic equalizer and a little...
It's like the radio frequency thing, like it's tuning in, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
104.7 Minster FM, something like that. That's what she's tuning into.
That's exactly that.
This is one of the rare Transformers you could give to your parent, and just or a grandparent or something like that then they wouldn't be able to break as well, because it was such a simple, click on the arms, flip over the feet, and you're done. It was like...
Well, unless you forget about the slidey up arm joint, of course.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is you doing it again, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's a bit, I don't know.
It's the same on Wind Charger. It's got an additional sort of slide up to the arms.
Oh, really?
Slide down.
You can... So you move... Oh, I don't know. I did know... No, sorry, I do know that. Yeah, because whenever I would click it back in, it sits too far down from the bonnet.
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
Right?
They slide up and down for transformation, basically.
Totally.
Well, they often sag.
Yeah, brilliant.
People do miss it quite frequently. They just sort of pull them out to the side, but they are supposed to kind of move up and down through transformation as well. And it's the same on Tailgate. Fascinatingly,
even that with the 86 line as well, those little bits, like I was saying about Pipes, where they feel very tactile, and I don't worry about this line in that I'm going to break them. I always worried with like Bumblebee and Cliffjumper and Hubcap and all those, that they have that little bit that can stress things like that. But the majority of these just feel, except for Hubcap actually, the others all feel really safe to just muck around with, and they're just really solid and great to pick up.
Yeah. This is a very solid thing. The only downside of this toy for me, do you know what I'm going to say?
Is it yellowing?
Oh, well, no. Well, it's a weird colour anyway, because it's not white, actually, Tailgate. It's a sort of... And he's drawn as white now in a lot of comics and things like this, like in IDW. But
slightly...
This is slightly off-white. Even, new
even
or crisp or whatever. It's never, ever a brilliant white Tailgate.
Yeah, true.
But no, I was going to say the fact that he can't really stand up without falling backwards.
Oh, yeah, back heavy, yeah.
But it is the same on Wind Charger. It just kind of lacks like a heel or anything like that to kind of stabilize it properly.
Yeah.
I think as well, because of the chrome, where it has to go over the joint, it often starts to push back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just that it scrapes, it adds that tiny bit of extra, width to it. That's a bit too much for the space it's supposed to fold into.
So it kind of friction.
Like, I remember getting one as a kid, and it almost wouldn't go straight because there was too much chrome, and so it would push it back slightly, and you kind of had to keep forcing it.
I do know what you mean. I often find with any version of this mold, when I get into robot mode, I kind of wish that the legs would click, like at the knee or something.
Exactly.
I kind of wish that there was just that slight,
bit more friction.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I have had it where I've had these two, Tailgate Windcharger, the black version of Windcharger, and the Botcon one, the grey one. Is it Rook? Oh man, someone's going to at me now. Anyway, regardless, I've had them all lined up, like one in front of the other, and some of the Antex ones as well, like the yellow version, things like that, and the blue one. And it's one of those where once one of them falls, it is just dominoes. They just they all go, and it's like, oh god.
They're getting old. The knees all go. But this mold, whether it's Windcharger or Tailgate, this is one of those defining Transformers. I think one of those toys that define this toy line. Yeah. It's like if I was gonna give someone 5 Transformers that represent everything about the brand, this would be one of them.
Yeah,
like, Datsuns would be one. This would be one. Primary one, and then I'd pick 2 others from late years. But this is just that. It's everything of that Diaclone early Transformers concept. All of it. It's like a real simple micro change sort of style small robot that's simple, but it's really elegant in how it transforms, and it's still
super elegant.
Yeah, but it transforms into real defined shapes. Like, you've got defined legs and arms. It's not just, these are arms and, you have to kind of imagine it. It's really defined. It's really clever. It doesn't have loads of articulation, but the arms and knees can move, and it looks great, and it's it's wonderful. It's the perfect representation of, and it's a pocket money toy, and it's
totally
exactly it's Transformers distilled is what.
And
this
it's
is.
a Trans Am, which is wonderful. And it's such a cool car, and just done beautifully. With the massive tires and everything as well.
She's done it in black and called it Smokey.
Yeah,
or the Bandit.
Bandit. Yeah, not Knight Rider. Could have had a Knight Rider thing, couldn't you?
One thing I would say as well about this line in general, just when we're talking about kind of things that can happen to them, because I'm looking at so I've got 2 tailgates, and one of them has rusted. Well, I got this one for £2.20, the other one for £6.77. But the £2.20 one was
is that on your spreadsheet?
That's on my spreadsheet. I'm literally looking at it now. It's because you use metal pins for those types of wheels.
Yeah,
they always rust.
They rust,
and it's a nightmare to try and clean it off. Because it's inside quite often. There was
a tip I was given.
Yeah, it's the vinegar.
Or Coca-Cola. I dip them in leave them in Coca-Cola overnight.
Oh, okay.
And the rust just falls off them. Which shows you exactly what they're doing to your teeth.
Well, exactly.
It terrifies me.
Totally.
What Coca-Cola
mind your guts, honestly.
It was Rocklord, wasn't it, at the last TFN for Manchester?
Yes,
it was white vinegar.
At Rocklords. Rocklords Rock.
Yeah.
So, talking about the fact that this guy's white, do you want to see a prototype?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not white.
Oh, really?
It's not white.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
yellow.
That. Wow.
How good is that?
That's like a mini Sunstreaker.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Another red face.
Another red face. This is a bit of a running theme with these prototypes. These
different sticker
prototypes.
as well.
Wait, what's going on?
Different sticker.
Yeah. Well, those hands are the same, aren't they?
Yeah, this is one of them that actually is more similar to the actual toy in terms of the molding.
What's his chest colour? Is that kind of like it looks like a green, doesn't it, on his chest there?
Yeah,
for his main body part.
It's like a dark green.
Love that colour scheme. Amazing.
Yeah, really nice. It's one that makes me sad that we've never had like an e-hobby or, do you know what I mean? Something.
That'd be great,
to kind of do the final mould in this colour. It'd be lovely to see.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Good
stuff.
Just really weird. I don't know why the red face, with the kind of combination of dark green, yellow, and just this random red face. But
really
super cool. Yeah.
Well, does that bring us nicely to another one in this line as well, who fits the bill?
Who's it going to be?
Hubcap.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Oh, so I thought we were going to do Swerve, so we could have had Robert's Row, because we've gone through all the James Robert characters. Instead, we've taken
We've swerved.
Separately.
A swerved in another direction,
Exactly.
And gone to a Nick Roche character.
No, Jason Curveball. So are we doing? Is that it then? Is it Hubcap?
Yeah.
Well, Hubcap. So Hubcap was it was a funny one for me because
awesome.
Well, no, I'll be honest. I thought it was Cliff Jumper. I thought it was Cliff Jumper when I got it.
Well, it is basically.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
I got it in I got this box, which I may have mentioned before, a toy box filled with all these different robots. And
the box of dreams, yeah.
It was a hubcap that was in there. It was 2, actually, I think. And didn't transform it. I just left it on the shelf thinking it was a cliff jumper, and I already had 3 cliff jumpers, so I was not bothered about it. And it was a few weeks later.
But did you have the yellow cliff jumper?
Yeah, sorry, good point. So I grew up with the yellow cliff jumper, loved it to bits. One of my favourite Transformers, because I had Bumblebee, then I got the Pipes and Outback, and then I got cliff jumper. So I kind of just ignored it, thinking it was the same thing. And it wasn't until I kind of looked at it closely and, actually flipped his head up and saw this red face, and I genuinely thought someone had coloured it in. Thought someone had just taken a biro to it and there was something coloured pen to it.
Yeah, it's a funny one. The paint actually on the face is never that well applied, I will say, on Hubcap. It's a little bit, it's on every copy I've ever seen of Hubcap, it's always the same, that there's a little bit of overspray. And,
yeah, you know. I find it just doesn't fit. I think on the versions I've got, it's just like they had this template and they just got tired and it dropped a wee bit, so it's kind of not quite where it should be.
Yeah, but it's a funny one because yellow, the reason I mention is yellow cliff jumper to me, and I know it's not true, but it's always seemed a little bit more exotic somehow, because in my mind, against all evidence, the yellow cliff jumper is somehow rarer, even though I know it's not because it was released in, similar or same quantities.
Time though, isn't it? Because time has passed. And
exactly.
You just kind of think of the toys as they were released and as you know them. When the variants and stuff, even if they were plentiful, they still feel exotic and
this is
like a rarer toy because it's different. It's not different. The one everyone talks about.
It's not the norm, It's not the sort of well-trodden path of red cliff jumper, and it's not I guess so. But I mean, I love my yellow cliff jumper, but it's funny to see how similar these two are, because I think this is where a lot of the confusion with this, I don't want to say mold, because just this general design of toy comes in, because you've got this hubcap, you've got yellow cliff jumper or cliff jumper in general, you've got Bumblebee, and you've got Bumper or Bumble Jumper. And I swear people think that all 4 of these toys are the same mold.
Yeah, the Bumble Jumper is so different, like even looks smaller as well when you see the alt mode. Just because of the shape of it, I always think it just looks a wee bit more just dinkier. I don't know if it's just a slightly optical illusion.
I think probably, yeah.
But, between Cliff Jumper and Hubcap, they're so similar. They're
that's the thing.
So similar, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because Hubcap is the one and only retool of these 4 toys, and he's a retool of Cliff Jumper. Yeah, so all of the others are completely unique. And even parts like the arms are unique and things like this. Whereas Hubcap is a retool of Cliff Jumper, and just with like a shaved off spoiler basically and a new head
and a popped on head. Yeah. Is the actual the head sculpt different? Is it?
Yeah, completely different. Yeah. Completely different.
It's fantastic. All of these. The whole set has just got really nice faces, other than Wheelie. But like all of these retools, it's just the effort they've gone to with each one. Have got a fantastic new face. Like Huffers is brilliant, Tailgates is brilliant. Pipes, not Hover, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
they're all different. But this one again, and shaving off the spoiler, it's kind of it's such a small, insignificant touch, but it makes a difference. Particularly as an adult, as a collector, and even as a kid, because it just separates them enough. Any kind of slight difference always stopped you feeling like you'd just gotten the same toy again.
I completely agree with that. I think it's hard to sort of understate how different it feels from Cliff Jumper, actually. Just that one little touch of removing the spoiler makes the car mode feel so separate in a weird way. Yeah. I mean, talking about your Imprezas and things like this, certainly when you see cars like that, the difference that the spoiler makes is quite significant. Like a wing thing or whatever.
The waffle.
It does make a massive difference to the overall look of the car. So perhaps it's no surprise to see it shrunk down that it does here as well.
But it's for us as well. Like you see people say, "Oh, they didn't do that much. It's just got rid of the spoilers. It's small." But you're like, but we are the people who will notice these small details.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of like almost like backdating it for us, for collectors, and for people like us now are obsessed over all these tiny little things. And it's such a crazy thing that even back then it was like this really small insignificant detail that I assume most kids wouldn't have caught, other than probably Maz. He would have noticed that straight away. But most of us probably wouldn't have even noticed. And it's just kind of cool that they were even thinking back then, like, what's the kind of way to give it a little bit more value and make it its own extra thing, not just a face. What else can we do to it?
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually jumping backwards and forwards between the photos I have of Cliffjumper yellow version and Hubcap. And I didn't actually realise now and didn't appreciate now how much better that face mould is. Well, not better, but just more delicate.
I was going to say, steady on here.
Because Cliffjumper's face is great. But yeah, it's a very different kind of feel about it, isn't it? You know, it's like we were saying about Wheelie's face, is that it's very humanoid, and Hubcap's is as well. It's really delicate nose and features and stuff. The bit that's a bit of a shame for me is the fact that orange paint that they put on it is so vibrant. You kind of lose that detail.
You do a little bit, yeah. It kind of does wash out the sculpt a little bit, and again, because the paint is not particularly well applied, like it's often not kind of fully over the eyes, and things like that. So it does. It's not the best job on that, but still,
I quite like it when you get it like that. Because I've seen a couple of copies, and I've had one where the eyes weren't properly caught, and it looks quite cool because it means like the face looks like it's red, and it's like the eyes are yellow.
I could see that.
Totally.
I could see that. Yeah. So, and of course, interestingly, this version of the mold, taking about Cliffjumper and all of those others, is the only one with just a rub sign.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Never done with the sticker on the chest, which the others,
all have
the pre-rub versions. So
because his chest becomes his roof.
And exactly.
Totally.
And there was never a reissue of this guy either, whereas there are reissues of all of the other Minibots that we're talking about tonight. You're going to talk about Generation 2? Is that what you're going to say?
I have one of those, and he gets a beautiful red chrome, which is hilarious considering it's not Cliffjumper, but he still keeps the stupid orange face.
It's true.
Really? The full orange face,
I love that they did him for Generation 2, though. Actually, the face on the Generation 2 version is better. It's weird. It feels crisply molded, and the paint does look better as well, I think. But the red chrome on it is gorgeous.
Yeah, I adore that toy, and I love how much red they've put on him to make him look like Cliffjumper, whilst not being Cliffjumper. It's just really funny.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a Christmas ornament almost, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He does. Oh my gosh, yes.
You could just honestly have those G2 Minibots on the tree.
Yeah, you could. That's very true. Absolutely.
I really do like the G2 version. Yeah. So.
Should we talk about another red-faced mini Autobot?
Well, we can do, but would you not like to see a prototype of Hubcap first?
Oh, yes, please.
Because there is one.
Jason, what colour do you think this is going to be?
Blue.
It's not yellow.
It's going to be blue. Is it blue?
Oh, I would like to see a blue one.
It's not. I would like to see a blue one. Well, there was a blue Cliffjumper, of course.
Oh, wait, hang on.
It was,
As a spoiler, I can see a white thing in the tailgate. Is he white? Is he? Yeah.
There you go. So he just swapped colours with tailgate, basically. So Hubcap was going to be white, tailgate was going to be yellow, and they just switched over, which is weird because kind of wonder why they didn't do that, because then it would have differentiated it from Cliffjumper,
Yeah, that looks so cool in the white as well.
It does look really nice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Why do they mistransform these all the time? It's so
not folded the arms.
Ironically, if they had done it in white, he would be yellow now.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah,
that looks really cool.
The fact it's kind of worked out quite nice because I do think that tailgate looks great in the white.
Yeah.
And of course, there was a yellow version of the Cliffjumper, of the Windcharger mold released in South America. So it kind of works out in that regard. But I think it would have been nice to see Hubcap in white. But I mean, actually, if you look closely, what you're seeing here is not really Hubcap at all.
No, it's just Cliffjumper.
Yeah, it's just a white Cliffjumper.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
it is nice. I prefer the yellow though.
Yeah,
this is a quite nice curio, but it looks a bit like toothpaste. I don't know. There's something toothpastey about it.
Yeah.
Fair.
I have to admit, now that I've got Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, Hubcap, and Bumblejumper all lined up, they look great together. It's so cool. Yeah.
I do like that they're all in yellow, actually, in that regard. Yeah, it sort of makes them feel like a weird team almost.
Yeah, totally. It is. Yeah.
There's something quite...
of mini Autobots.
That's it. Yeah, there you go. That's
the Mini Autobots, yeah.
It
is quite a satisfactory lineup to see the 4 yellow dudes all lined up next to one another. And I think you're right. If the one was just white, it wouldn't have that same sense of satisfaction.
He's a little guy on his own.
Yeah.
He's ostracized. Poor
little white guy with the red face. Yeah. So, so now you can talk about... Who do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, so let's talk about our other red-faced dude here, which is Swerve.
Swerve.
Yeah, Swerve.
Very red face.
Yes,
I
exactly.
know.
Yeah. I guess he was a big fan of these toys.
Yeah, well, he did say that, didn't he?
Yeah.
This was his thing.
He also was able to give them characters, which I assume as a writer is like a gift to be given recognizable faces that aren't characters in their own right, really, that don't have any really established backstory. Because they appeared in Five Faces of Darkness, was it?
Five Faces of Darkness, yeah. And this guy, especially, is like the one that everybody weirdly does remember because of how little he was in it. I mean, he's in like a couple of frames and then gets stepped on by Trypticon, and that's his whole claim to fame. He's just squished into the ground.
I mean, as a writer for someone like James, it must be just incredible to be able to be like, I get to create these characters to give them personality, really, because they are blank slates. And like, look how they've become iconic now in their own rights. Like Swerve is a real popular, one of the most popular Transformers pretty much in the fandom at the minute, isn't he? As a result of this.
Yeah, totally.
And Tailgate as well, also beloved. All of these sort of, just these little guys that were just innocuous toys at the time that, I don't know, I imagine some kids would possibly have got and thought, they're not really from the cartoon. You know, they kind of feel like filler toys that then...
It's so true. And especially, I think, I mean, Hubcap is not even in the cartoon, you know, but especially like with Swerve, it's interesting because the more than meets the eye interpretation of him actually looks a little bit more like this original toy, I think. Like, it's not that far off. Like,
I agree. I think
you could look at this toy and think it looks like the comic, you know?
The first time he popped up in the comic, I think it's Monstrosity. It's that late IDW just before All the Meets the Eye. And it's one that James was writing, and he has him on a ship, and they go to Kimia, and Swerve's just being Swerve, but it's the first time you see him, and he's drawn very much like his original toy. Because it's done by Livio Ramondelli, and his art was very toy-based at this time, I think, a lot of these characters from memory.
Nice.
It's cool.
But it's just quite cool. Hubcap's another one that Nick would use later on in one of the record series.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun that they all get this. But yeah, I think Swerve's a great toy. I know you are the wrong person here because you don't like Gears, but there's just,
it's not
so
that
wrong.
It's not that I don't like Gears, I just don't think he's as good as some of the others. And there is a bit of that for me with Swerve as well, but I do prefer Swerve to Gears overall. I think
thought you
said
Gears was crap. Was that your exact quote?
No, that was not my exact quote. I said it looks like a pound shop toy. And
there
I stand by that, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
£1
that's the same
Gears.
thing.
It's the colour scheme for me, though, predominantly on Gears. It's the kind of baby blue with the red. And I prefer Swerve for the fact that it's a little bit of that kind of different colour. I think the slightly more muted burnt red works wonders here with the white and chrome and everything. I don't know, it hangs together a little bit better. It's still not my favourite Transformers toy, don't get me wrong, but it's a fun little... It's a fun time, you know, it's a fun little thing.
I think he's a lot of fun. I struggle with his head, because, again, it's that thing where it's just a big bit of red plastic.
Big blob red, yeah.
And
it looks better on the reissue, again.
Right, okay, yeah. So have they brought out details of the and stuff?
Have you not seen the reissue?
No, I've not, actually, no.
Oh, Jason, check this out, man. I'm prepared with pictures from the wiki.
Oh, wow. God, yeah.
It looks like a completely different face, despite not being a completely different face. That's what the paint does for it, doesn't it?
Wow, that's so cool.
This is like a retro reissue before it was a retro reissue. You know, they were going like with this was all like in Transformers Collection, Takara reissues, and they were basically. Oh no, actually no, I tell a lie. This was Encore. And they did big box sets of them and things, and basically just gave them all blue visors, but with Tailgate they gave them a grey face as well. So they basically went in and painted in the detail from the original mold, and it looks fantastic.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Because I feel it's a bit of a shame, because I've got a lot of love for Gears, because I got Bumblebee when I was a kid and my brother got Gears, so they were the first two Transformers that we both had. So when I first experienced Swerve, when again that big box that I got filled with Transformers, he was in there. There was probably two of them. I don't know why this person had two of every figure. It's probably a collector. And but it's I didn't know much about it. Didn't know really anything about the character or the toy or anything like that. There was no character at that point, was there? But I was so familiar with the transformation and the fun of it and it fitting with Gears that I did have a little soft spot for it as well. So I quite like it. And again, he's got one of the greatest kind of random stickers sitting on his chest as well, which
it's cool, isn't it?
It is cool.
Knobs and dials and
just it's like what is so electronic?
Star Trek.
There you go.
Star Trek
exactly.
console.
Yeah, totally. It's like an iPad.
Retro future.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it. And his massive shoulder pads like Gears has. Yeah, it's just again, fun. Not my favourite with all of this as well. The sideways
rub sign.
Rub sign is a bit like, it makes me twitch.
So bad.
Yeah.
That is real. Like they've made the toy.
Where are we putting
the rub sign, lads?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't fit.
Damn it. Yeah.
What are we going to do? Turn it sideways. Like,
I know exactly. I feel like it could have gone on the back, just on that white bit, but then I don't know. It's centralized. But yeah, being fussy now, I actually, except it's mainly my issue there is I think I would prefer to get the reissue there with the painted visor. I think that looks awesome.
It's pretty nice. I only have the reissue, I must admit.
Right, okay.
And it's you can see it in person when you come for TFN, or you will have seen it already.
I will have seen it.
It's
amazing. It looks great.
You loved it, didn't you? You were really into it. I remember. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was. It's lovely. I only have that version. It is really nice. But that Encore set, I don't think is too bad to pick up, or it certainly wasn't at one stage.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye. I got the is the Bumblebee. The people comment on his face in that version, the cartoon
blow-up
face.
doll Bumblebee. Yeah,
I actually I like that version. It's just another version that I got. So I picked that up last year at TFN from Kapow. Just the Bumblebee, but I've never seen the pack. But I'd happily get them again. Can never have too many. I've got 39 mini Autobots somehow because I've got so many duplicates.
Vehicles.
I don't have any mini Autobots.
Oh, well, you should start collecting those.
Yeah, no, I've got plenty of mini vehicles or Minibots.
But they're different. They're different. They're not as good.
Right, sure. Talking about colours and things like that, have you seen there's a Mexican version of this guy as well, kind of?
Yes.
Oh, I'm kind of... Is this going to be like green or purple or something?
No.
Ooh,
we talked about Puffer earlier, so this is basically...
Wow.
This is basically Gears in Swerve colours.
Well, I love
very
that.
awkwardly placed hole.
Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? I really like Gears' face. I've always liked Gears' face. I just think it's really kind of slightly comedy. It's like this shape in a good way, Liam, not in a bad way. I really love that. I would happily get that.
It looks a bit like a Terry's chocolate orange slice, doesn't it?
It does actually.
Just a little bit,
true.
actually.
It does. Yeah,
kind of got that colour to it.
Straps over it.
Yeah. Certainly true. Certainly true. Yeah, no prototype on this one, sadly. No prototype picture. But there you go. So you can have a Mexican variant instead.
Oof. Yep, good. I'm all in.
Does look pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that brings us to Outback.
My boy. Oh my goodness. Yes. How could we leave this to the end?
I don't know. I was, I kind of, it's so weird having talked about Wheelie first because I was all, kind of gearing up
the
for
hater energy at the end.
Big kick in right at the end there. And,
let's end on love and happiness and joy.
Man.
Yeah.
Right.
And the one, is it the only mini Autobot that gets an accessory as well?
Yeah.
The only mini vehicle, yeah.
Yeah. Wow,
yes. Minibot.
Look at the way the rub sign is on this as well. It fits perfectly. I love Outback. I love his face sculpt. I love the colours, the stickers. There's just the access. There's so much to like about this one. Really great.
I have a lot to say about this guy because, again, it sort of exemplifies why these 86 versions work versus the 84 ones. Why they can kind of coexist and still sort of carve out their own kind of niche because it's so different to Brawn. Like, nothing about this toy feels like Brawn to me in any way.
No.
And the sort of extent of the remolding, I don't know. Again, the vehicle mode, a bit like Windcharger, doesn't look too dissimilar. Like, at a glance, you can see it's the same base sort of shape or whatever. A little bit of remolding on the sort of winch thing, and on the tire on the top for the weapon and stuff like that. But it's when it transforms and you sort of see that he doesn't have the Cylon hands anymore and things like that.
He doesn't have hook hands. Yeah.
He doesn't have hook hands. Yeah, he's got proper little molded fists, chrome fists, and the whole kind of front of him and the face. It just looks so different.
Yeah, he's still got the waddling on stilts legs thing going on, hasn't he?
He does.
His double heels, the offset heels.
I've always really liked that he came with an accessory. It's cool. It's a shame he can't hold it, but it just looks like Megatron's fusion cannon, doesn't it?
It really does.
Oh,
I always kind of wondered if that was like a weird nod, to Brawn. You know, I know it's not, obviously, because of the way the toys in the cartoon, you know, it's not sort of self-referential or whatever, but it's the fact that, you know, Brawn very famously has a scene in the cartoon where he gets Megatron's fusion cannon, and I always thought it was funny that Outback has what looks like a little mini version of the fusion cannon. So
yeah, that's the thing. Although I always remember when I got Brawn, you can't interchange that accessory. It doesn't fit in Brawn's wheel on the top for some reason, so there is a bit of moulding change there. I never really realised how much, now that I'm looking at Brawn and Outback next to each other, I just always was focused on his face, but I didn't realise how much they changed.
Oh yeah, the chest is completely
the whole body,
different.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And on such a tiny figure, the fact they'd go and do that as well, it's like, it's great. It's actually really, it's massive difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
As well.
Even down to like where the rub sign is placed, you know, it's got a little recess for the rub sign on the side and things like that, you know.
Loved it when they did that and they would give it so it was flush with the actual final transformation. That's what I remember about this as well. You know, when you flick, it was the same with Brawn, but with Outback, it was my first experience of this figure. And when you'd flick his hands round and they'd clip into that little recess inside the door and bring it back round and move his leg. And it just the process of it took a few, you know, this wasn't one that I gave to my parents because there was more processes to make it work properly and they'd be trying to force it around the leg and stuff. And the legs have an extender as well, don't they? They pull them down slightly.
They do, yeah. You're right, actually, because compared to like Tailgate and Windcharger and that, it's not complicated, but there is a little bit more nuance to it. Yeah. You got to get it right.
Yeah, but it was really satisfying because then when you got stuff around you clicked it in and then brought the legs round to complete the alt mode. It's just great. I remember hours of fun just when me and my brother used to play Transformers and I would happily transform this guy backwards and forwards as he was doing different things. It's a great figure. Really cool.
Yeah, I had this as a kid. And I always liked him because Outback had quite a memorable appearance in the comic, you know, where he's with Optimus Prime on Cybertron and he gets injured by a Guardian robot that kind of takes a big swipe at him and all of that kind of stuff. And but I remember this as a kid, and you mentioned about the accessory and all of that, but I remember thinking there must be a way to peg it into the robot mode somehow. And just looking all over the thing, trying to find where's the peg hole, do you know what I mean? Where'd you put it in? And sort of coming to the conclusion that maybe you didn't. And to me, it's set up there. No joke, because like one of those mysteries, like why is there a seat in the Dinobots? You know, it was one of those where it felt like I must be missing something almost. You know,
for his backpack, swivel it around, it becomes a jetpack, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so
I guess that's
like a kangaroo.
Oh, that's quite
he's Australian.
Is that what Australians have jetpacks?
Yeah, that's how they all get around.
In the outback,
hop, don't they? Boing, boing,
shooting kangaroos.
Boing. It's a big country. Big old country. It does make sense. True. This is another one, of course, that's got in your Encore set has got a little blue visor.
Oh, it does.
And the reissue as well,
my goodness, I need to get that now then.
Yeah.
Have you got
Do you want to see a picture?
Yes,
Do you want to see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what noise you're going to make, Jason, honestly.
Oh, is it
Here it is.
Oh, my goodness. That's pretty.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, wow. That looks cool. He does. He's got more Australian vibes about him here as well.
Yeah.
He bloody mistransformed it in that, though.
Yeah. It's just that's actually a Takara Tomy picture, believe it or not. So... yeah, but he's still got, though, what I do love about this guy is he's still got his vibes where he looks like a novelty condom machine.
Yes, those buttons on the chest.
No. Yeah. Oh no, unsee.
And if you look at his crotch, it looks like it's where they get dispensed.
Very much so. This is novelty condom machine energy through and through. Honestly.
Oh my goodness.
At least a vending machine of some sort. Like it's got the little selection panel. Just there,
or a
the
fruit
little
machine,
dispenser
you know, like you find in a pub.
You can imagine some little grandma in Vegas sitting there playing the slots. You know?
This is I don't like this anymore.
You've gone off him now.
I've gone off him now.
Just imagine him on the wall. You got in the gents' toilets. You got Wheelie on the one side and him on the other. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no! Speaking in rhyme.
Yeah. What a pairing. Honestly. Yeah, but no, he's always kind of had that vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, mate. Do you need any condoms? Good day.
And Wheelie's going,
need any Johnnies, mate?
Feel fine.
Call that a knife. This is a knife.
Gonna get lucky, are you?
Safe sex, don't get pregnant. No,
What happened there, Jason?
This is Wheelie singing to you again.
What, the urinal is talking to you?
That was just a sentence. That didn't rhyme.
I was trying to think of a rhyme there, but safe sex and, I need more time to kind of workshop it, okay?
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, mate. Oh, my God.
So it's maybe something like Save Sex by Durex,
That's perfect. Oh, there you go.
Save Sex by Durex. Yeah,
there we go.
Good, done it. Right.
That is frightening. Sorry, Jason. That's terrifying. God.
It is a bit.
Never mind safe sex. Talk to people like that. They'll be practicing abstinence.
Jason's counselling days.
I will help you not have a baby.
Oh, God.
Guidance counsellor.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Oh, anyway, right, recovery mode.
Yeah. Good Lord. Right.
So these were great anyway.
Yeah, certainly. This has been brilliant, yeah. No, I do really love Outback as a toy. I think he's great. Honestly, just superb remold of the original toy.
Absolutely.
Nice extra effort that's gone into it. And again, one thing I would say about this, talking about your third-party versions and things again, I have the Fans Toys version of this guy, and just completely lacking in the same kind of charm, you know? Like
really?
I don't know.
I've always been tempted by that figure.
It's all right, man. Like, don't get me wrong, the Brawn version is really good, and that they did, and the Outback retool, it's impressive in all the sort of ways that it should be, but it just kind of, I don't know. It's the colours, I think. It's something about this. The colours on this original toy, the tan and the brown, work supremely well. And somehow, on other toys, other versions of this character, it looks a little bit drab. I don't know.
Yeah.
As well,
totally.
There is a magic to the mini vehicles that is lost whenever they're done again at a larger scale. I think they're so intrinsically linked to those small toys, quick transformations, these kind of details that work so well on this kind of scale, that once they're scaled up and always made to look like the cartoon, it doesn't work in the same way. Like the closest anyone has come was, I can't remember which third party did it. They did the Mini Warriors back in the day. I don't know. I think Sid was involved in it, and they did all the mini vehicles, and it had the Brawn, and it was excellent. It was really good. And it had this same, it was about a deluxe sort of size, but it had this same kind of quality to it, very thick plastic and simple to transform and just clever. And I just think that's what always gets lost. I don't think it's the same when you've got a masterpiece level version of a mini vehicle, if you know what I mean. It's just, it's so tied to that completely small pickup play, carry in your pocket, and just this kind of detail. I think the style of him, like this Outback, it works here. Whereas I think if they scaled it up to masterpiece size, it looks off. It just, because of the way the parts have to move and transform, it's really impossible to capture why. Because here you can see the legs, and you say that they look kind of weird, but they look weird because you know what they do.
It's so true.
Articulation stuff, it's so true. Doesn't work in the same way.
Yep. I must admit, I have reached a time, a stage in my life where I often sort of, you're transforming some of these things, and you do sit there and think, do I need to be spending 25, 30 minutes transforming a third-party masterpiece-styled Outback? Do you know what I mean? Do I need that? Or does the original just kind of tick that box in a way that nothing ever will again, And simplicity is good sometimes.
Yeah, just exactly. The fun of it. That's what this 86 line is. These are just a lot of fun, except Wheelie. Which is just terrifying.
Very much so. Yeah. Now, before we wrap up, do you want to see some other little pictures of other Outbacks?
Yes, I do.
There are some. Okay. Check this out, first of all.
Oh, there we go.
Brown Brawn.
Brown Brawn.
Brown Brawn.
That's like the best combination ever.
Brown.
That's
the way the Americans say brawn. Brown.
It is, isn't it? Brown.
From Boston. From Boston. You say brown.
We're really on it with the accents today, aren't we?
Absolutely smashing it, yeah.
Can you do that one, Jason?
I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
It didn't disappoint.
I'm gonna go to the garden. Watch the Celtics.
The Celtics.
So anyway, Brown Brawn. And it's, again, it's the same old thing where it's just a Mexican take on these 86 characters, but kind of the same colour scheme, but done on the original mould. And I think it looks great, honestly. I think it looks really cool.
It's cool.
Very cool.
A little different. And then, of course, you have his prototype version.
Ooh.
And you're not going to be, if you're a big fan of the red faces on these, you're not going to be disappointed here. Let me say that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks embarrassed, doesn't he?
He does. What? Why has he got a bit of Lego on his groin? What's going on?
It looks like something like someone operating like a pulley system in like a factory or something. They press the button to make the lift move.
Yes, exactly.
It does look exactly like
push my crutch.
Good Lord.
What's he dispensing there?
He's a different kind of... It's not Outback, it's Outback. And he's doing seedy things.
He's doing things out back. Oh, no.
And that's why he's red-faced.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Lord. Too far.
Push the red button. I'm pushing the blue button.
Outback in the alley.
Put it away, Outback. Oh, dear. Yeah.
Yes, a big red face on this guy. Very different
chest
face as well. Different chest. Completely different chest.
It is, isn't it?
Just the moulding is nothing like the final toy whatsoever, really. Which is, I'll say that a little bit, maybe just under the neck sort of area, whatever that area is there a little bit, but definitely a different mould.
Even the waist, if you look at the hips of the proper one, he's got the 4 little dots. It's almost like a studded belt. If you look at this one, it's 2 larger dots, and then there's almost like overly bits on the side, if you know, see what I mean?
Totally.
It's similar sort of detail, but different.
The face doesn't protrude on this one. It's sort of...
It doesn't.
It's recessed,
Yeah, I'm glad they changed that, actually.
It doesn't
look like he's straining at the neck, to look like the other one does.
Yeah, totally.
It's a weird one. It's fun to see, though.
It is really fun to see, actually, yeah. It's interesting as well, like how much the robot, and obviously that's the underneath of the alt mode, but, the actual truck hasn't changed that much.
Yeah. It is cool seeing all the prototypes and seeing how many iterations of them there were and how much effort went into just what were retools of already existing toys. And it's kind of a real breath of fresh air, kind of to say it's from the past, you know what I mean? Considering now, you don't see this kind of stuff to the same degree, I don't think.
No, I completely agree with
totally.
that.
Yeah.
I do think if these toys were made now, they would be straight up recolors. They would just be the toys that you've already got, as it were.
And even the stuff with the moulding, like, because so much of it's done on computer, you wouldn't see as many physical, prototypes sort of in photography and stuff, or going through the packaging photos in the same way you did back in the days, because, they didn't have it in that time.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I also think as well, there's something about the way that this stuff is revealed, kind of over time and kind of, as these catalogs and things come to light, and it's like, look at that. Whereas, now, and this is not a diss at all, because it's amazing that we get all of this information now, but, the design team would be putting it out on Instagram and things like that, and it would just be kind of... Yeah, exactly.
Diss the design team on this podcast. They're never coming back.
I love the current design team, that, and we may be having one of them on before too long as well, so that's something to look forward to. So can't wait for that. But it's just a different era now, and I think the level of information and access to that information that we have now is unprecedented, and it's incredible, frankly. And I just also love the time where actually a lot of this was not preserved as or documented in the same way. It wasn't immediately put out because there was no internet, and
we still had mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. Those old school mysteries, and just seeing this stuff for the first time and being like, look at it, incredible. I don't know. Yeah,
it's great.
Certainly, this 86 pre-Toy Fair catalogue, I think, ranks up there for me as one of those.
Yeah.
There's more in there, there's Hotspot and all kinds in there, Galvatron, that is just so worth seeing because it looks incredible. But yeah, and a great round of toys in the 86 Minibots.
Absolutely. Yeah, superb bunch of bots.
Wheelie as well. Is also there.
He's a fun toy.
5 great toys, 5 very, very good toys. And,
one
Wheelie.
creepy, flailed guy.
And also Wheelie was present.
Wheelie not good.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Right, well, it's that time for the part of the pod where we talk about our sponsors, and that is, as ever, tfsource.com. So do check them out for all your Transformers and third-party needs, and we're going to do what we always do, which is find an item that they've got in stock or available for pre-order right now. And we've had a little look, and we've decided that tonight, Matthew, that is going to be Autobot Cup Triple T with Sergeant Slaughter and Leatherneck. This is a G.I. Joe Transformers collaborative effort, and I gotta tell you, I think this looks banging. What about you guys?
Yes, it's Sergeant Slaughter. He follows me on Twitter.
Yeah, he follows me too. Yeah, randomly, and now there you go. There's the toy of him.
I like this. I know. I've always had a soft spot for wrestling, as you know.
Yeah.
So Sergeant Slaughter. When I was a kid, he was a Iraqi sympathizer fighting Hulk Hogan But here he is.
Here he is.
Here he is.
So I have no connect to G.I. Joe, as you guys know, but I really, really love that Cup face sculpt.
Oh yeah, the face sculpt. The face sculpt might be one of the best Cup face sculpts on any toy ever, I think.
Yeah, it looks great. I think whoever's designed this has the team that have done this have got a real love for both brands, in my opinion, and have brought, because I don't have much knowledge, but that's very very familiar, that alt mode for the G.I. Joe stuff, right?
Yeah,
and it's I think it works great. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
It is such a shame they did not figure out how to get the Saigar in there.
Yeah.
I'm
happy without it, to be honest. I like the Saigar thing, but this is like classic Cup to me.
It is classic Cup,
isn't it? I mean, it's fantastic, and it's absolutely wicked head sculpt. It's just because the fact it's a G.I. Joe thing coming with Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like
totally.
the Saigar would have been cool. But I love how this has got like the circular arms, of Cup as well.
It's the shoulders as well.
That's Cup through, isn't it? The shoulders there. Brilliant.
It's the first one that doesn't just feel like a G.I. Joe vehicle with a Transformers head on it. This one feels like, the character is wearing parts of the G.I. Joe vehicle. So even the the abs, the feet there, and the arms.
The abs is a nice touch. I think those shoulder pieces are clever just because it's very clearly just one piece of plastic that they've put in there specifically to have it feel like Cup, and it's a really nice effort that they've kind of gone to.
I feel like they've learned the lessons a little bit from earlier ones.
See, I understand why people say that, but honestly, I think this line has been great so far.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know you're not dissing it, and I understand what you're saying, but I have heard this kind of critique of, them not looking like the characters and that. I don't know. For me, His Tank Megatron and the Thunder Machine Soundwave so far have been top tier, like really good. And this looks the same. And Jason, I think you hit it on the head when you talked about the vehicle mode and, a love of both brands, both franchises, because that's the real success of this line for me versus some of the other collab stuff, because it comes from a place where it is a real meeting of the two. It's a G.I. Joe vehicle which looks exactly or very, very similar, like almost exactly like the original toy in so many regards. Same scale, everything, and with the original figures, reissues and that. The O-ring figures. Yeah, exactly. But then it transforms into a sort of decent, not exact, but a big love letter sort of interpretation of the original character.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's great. Even the fact they put the blue, the colour of Cup in there on those elements and stuff like that. I think it's lovely. Really
This
lovely.
is the first true realization of the Transformers concept interacting with figures of this scale and this kind of thing, isn't it?
It is.
Mm-hmm. You don't really... We've had Binaltech and stuff, and they don't really come with figures. Some of them, like the Japanese ones, do. But this is like Action Force G.I. Joe figures. This is what you would have wanted as a kid, isn't it? The vehicles that fit these kind of toys. And this is... And it's the fact the vehicles are the G.I. Joe vehicles first, and they transform into the robots. They don't look like a compromise of G.I. Joe vehicles. And it works perfectly.
Exactly. I'm so happy that they didn't compromise on the vehicle modes at all, that they've started from a place where it's like, well, this is the mode that it's got to look like. It's got to look like a His Tank. It's got to look like the Triple T. It's got to look like the Thunder Machine. And then, how do we turn that into the kind of classic character? And I think that's so cool. That's great. The way they interact with the humans is just brilliant, honestly. I know we've had Human Alliance and things like that over the years, but this is something different. And I think as well, probably a lot of people that aren't picking these up and they're kind of quibbling the price of them and things like this, they probably don't appreciate, or I'm pretty certain they don't, quite how big these are as well. They're massive.
Absolutely.
Bumblebee was huge.
Yeah.
This as well. You get a lot of plastic, and it's a great. It's almost like a little mini playset. It's so good. But I think this one, of all of them so far, this is the one I think is the most appropriate character choice for the vehicle that it's paired with, because obviously it's Cup and Sergeant Slaughter, and I just think they've all been fine and good and stuff, but this one I think feels like the first one I've looked at and gone, that makes the exact sense of who that should be.
Do you know as well, it's I look at it and the legs are working really well for me, and I kept looking at it thinking that reminds me of something, and it's animated Blitzwing. It's a very similar style to his feet in the fact that it uses those tank treads. It's flipped on him, but it's the same kind of style to it as well. So they've used that, and it even in that alt mode, if you kind of remove the top part of it, and then you can see that's what Blitzwing has in his kind of tank mode about him as well.
Yeah,
in the animated version. And
I see what you're saying.
They're just bringing together nice elements, I think.
Yeah, agreed. This does have ankle tilt, by the way. Something I was really concerned about because all of these...
they're not showing it.
Yeah, all these pictures, they don't show the ankle tilt at all, but it has been seen on some of the convention pictures and things. So
you can see it it looks like, because I did look at that, it looks like there's a pin that is in on that left leg, his right leg actually, as well. So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Tell you what isn't successful here. The guns in his hands.
Yes, they're
like,
so
I get
meaty, so tiny.
Yeah, they make sense in the vehicle, obviously, but it's just they look kind of funny in his hands, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. It was
like he's holding maracas.
Yeah,
it's totally. A little bit like that. I grant you.
It's kind of a shame.
Somebody amigo.
It would have been nice if they kind of done something where they could combine together to make a bigger kind of robot rifle or something. But that's nitpicking because it's really good.
The one thing I'm surprised about with this is that they went for an Autobot logo on the front of the vehicle mode. Just because none of the others, to my knowledge anyway, like without checking, have had that. So that does feel like a slight break from the kind of, sort of uninterrupted G.I. Joe vehicle, if you like. But otherwise...
And there's not one in the robot mode. Do you notice that? So it's in the car mode, but not in the vehicle alt mode, but it's not in the robot mode.
There's one on his shoulder in the robot mode.
Oh, there is. That's right.
The vehicle one disappears, tucks away.
Yeah.
Just an interesting choice, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but honestly, I think this looks brilliant. And I know people are going to quibble the price. I mean, it's $90 on Tier Source, and I know people are going to, quibble the sort of,
it'll be 20 quid in a week.
Well, I saw I was in Game earlier as well, and they had is it the Soundwave one?
Thunder Machine, it's like 95 quid.
It was 120 in Game today, which is a bit mental.
I think I saw it. I think it was 105
right
as well.
Yeah,
that is a little bit more pricey, that one, but it also comes with the Ravage and various other bits as well.
Right, okay,
so it's a good overall
set.
Yeah, quite a good package, I would say. Yeah. It's what Liam said earlier, is, they feel quite like substantial, sort of almost playset packages, the size of them and everything as well.
I do love the look of them. Like, even the box art on this one, it's a lot of fun. The two figures in there as well. It's really nicely done. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm absolutely 100% getting this. There's no way I would miss this. These G.I. Joe collab toys have become, it sounds silly to say, but some of the Transformers that modern Transformers that I currently am anticipating the most.
Oh, no,
so,
really? Nice.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm well in on this, and I would recommend it personally from the looks of it. I think you're right, Liam. I think this looks like the most impressive one so far.
Yeah.
So go and check it out and see what else there is at tiersource.com for all your Transformers and third-party needs.
We now return to the Transformers.
Well, we're going to come back to the main pod after the old sponsor segment, but I think that does park it for us with 1986 Minibots. I think we've hopefully done the topic justice. We've given Wheelie a bit of a kicking, which was the main priority for tonight, obviously. Just got to get that big hater energy in there. Jason, I'm sure you'll be pleased.
Oh, yeah. Poor Wheelie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't feel sorry for him now.
I like his alt mode. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that is something. Yeah, just keep him in car mode. But if you do want more of this, and you've been enjoying the pod, you should get on our Patreon, shouldn't you? Because Patreon. Yeah, Patreon. Yeah, like old times. And also current times.
It's because it's been a while. That's what
modern era.
Yeah, modern era mispronunciation. But yeah, do go and get on our Patreon, because we have 5 glorious tiers of stuff. You can get everything from access to our Discord, or get our regular episodes up to a week early, or you can get exclusive content as well, everything from fortnightly minisodes and fortnightly mini-series on a range of ongoing topics. And we are going to be introducing a couple of new mini-series to the roster as well, and as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be having some guests on for those, including Raz, who's going to come on and talk to us about prototypes, so that is thrilling. I cannot wait for that. And as you maybe will have and now have heard at TF Nation, because it's happened already, and so
it was great.
It was
weekend, amazing,
tremendous.
It was awesome, wasn't it? I'm still tired. Yeah,
I still can't believe you did that on stage, Jason. Woof.
Couldn't get him to put it away.
Oh, sorry,
never invite us back after that.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, they will.
Just dangling there the whole time. Anyway, we did.
It was like Revenge of the Fallen all over again. How I ended up under there, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm trying to coax you out.
Trying to reenact it.
Get out from under there, Liam. Anyway, she totally skewered my point now, but I was going to say we will have confirmed that TF Nation, and have done by now, I'm sure, that we're going to be having the one and only Maz back on for some mini-series action as well. He's going to be joining us for some mini-series. So that, if you miss Maz, and why would you not, you can get on our Patreon, and he's going to be on there from time to time as well. So that is very exciting. He's back, baby. We always knew he would be. And
can't stay away.
Can't stay away.
I know.
Try and stop him. Yeah. We didn't even want him on for the mini-series. He just insisted.
Now he won't come back.
I know, I'm joking.
We do.
That is
we
a
want
joke.
him back. Yeah.
We absolutely wanted him back. Of course we did. So yeah, he's going to be back. So get on our Patreon. That is patreon.com/Triple Takeover. And another perk, of course, of the Patreon is that we're going to mention you, aren't we? If you're new. And if you've got a complicated name, Jason,
then I'm the man.
Jason will try and pronounce it.
Yeah, Jason. It's a dinosaur.
It is. So I know this dinosaur as well. So
personally.
I'm feeling confident.
Confident.
Bill.
Live next door.
It's Bill. So I'm feeling quietly confident with this one, but I should probably not say that before I say it out loud.
So these are our new patrons for this time, isn't it? For this week.
Yeah, we have two this episode. And first one, coming in at Go Box Classic.
Here we go.
Quetzalcoatlus Northropy.
Oh!
He nailed it.
Did I get it? Yes.
Go on, say it again.
Quetzalcoatlus Northropy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Damn.
I don't know why. It's because it's a dinosaur.
No?
Sorry guys. I know. Wait until I try and do
I'm
the
a
next
little
one.
Bit. Yeah.
The next one's.
How can you not say Seacons, but you can say that? What is?
Seacons makes sense in my brain. Quetzalcoatlus Northropy. Yeah, there we go.
It could still go wrong, Liam.
Yeah,
it could still go wrong.
Yeah, it could very much go wrong, but hopefully not, because welcome Paul Pierce Inc.
Is it not Pious?
Man in Pig.
I thought that, but there's no O.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Pious has an O, doesn't
Paul
it?
Pierce Inc. Paul Pierce Inc.
I mean, it's spelt like Prius, but without the R, isn't it? So.
Yeah, so that's it, And we all know it's Alpha Trion, so I'm the best at this. There we go. Welcome, Paul, and welcome Quetzalcoatlus Northropy.
Go on.
He's crushing it.
What is this?
That's it. Just get me some dinosaurs from now on.
I thought we were going to have like a whole 20 minutes of jokes.
I know. No, look at that.
All
We
right.
said we'd finish at a good time. I don't want to keep you guys waiting.
I'm a bit deflated now. I don't know what to say.
So I'll do it again, but do it wrong.
No.
I'm joking.
So you don't have to make it up for me, honestly.
No, that's it.
For you. For you.
Yeah.
I'll deliver
I
to
would
you.
know. Just
for me.
Don't worry.
I would
It's
know.
a special thing.
Don't fake it for me, Jason, honestly.
This is TFN all over again.
Oh, maybe it will be. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
no, we
true.
do. We
No,
do
we
know.
know.
Well,
Yeah,
been and done.
we were there.
Been and done. Right. Well, that's obviously a perk. You get your name pronounced correctly by Jason. And also, you get to ask a question, don't you?
Yes. And the question is...
And the question is...
This is from the Mapes brothers, whom you may be aware of.
Oh my God.
That was a joke. I know.
Wow.
This is from the Mapes brothers.
On that, have you seen that they used? Did you see them use that in their press release?
That was funny.
I was speaking to Dave the other day as well, and it was mentioned in one of their internal messages as well. It's
Really?
very funny. Yeah, I think this is a whole thing, isn't it?
They obviously like
Pesky
it, which
I
is
love
cool.
it. It is. It's good. Yeah. So this is from the Mates brothers, who you may know. Do we know? We know. And they ask, "What's your favorite? What's your favorite human character in Transformers?" Obviously,
Right, yeah. Not
in your
John
life.
Wick. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my son. No.
Yeah.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes. Exactly.
Go on then, Liam.
Oh, there's so many good ones. I am quite partial to Alex Maltloaf, though. He's quite fun.
Who's
Molto,
that?
not Maltloaf, not Maltloaf.
Oh, is that
Alex
the guy
Molto.
from? Is that the guy from Animated?
No,
That's
that's
Spark.
Spark.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Got you.
He makes the burritos and stuff and has all the funny
of course.
shirts.
The dad. Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite
nice.
fun. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Like, we've had quite a lot of fun humans over the years. I know a lot of people don't tend to like them because they prefer the robots. But
if we're talking cartoons and movies and things, I'm going to pick.
What are you talking?
Well, comics.
Are you going to say Buster?
No, well, actually, I'm not. My first thought was going to be Circuit Breaker. I was going to maybe mention Circuit Breaker because she's wicked. She's awesome and like a really unique character as well. I think actually in terms of the movies and stuff, I would say probably Charlie from Bumblebee. I think he's really nice.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Really
not
good
Kenny
character.
Diego. I think we got a Transformer.
He is literally one of the worst characters that's ever been committed to film, awful. I'm an inventor. Just drives me up the wall, that guy. But no, Charlie is wonderful.
Also from Boston.
Let's move on from Kate Yeager, please. Honestly.
Give him trauma.
God, you and your Boston accent. We're going to have Boston people writing into us just going, what is Liam doing? But yeah, no, Charlie I think is really nice because there's a lot of stuff in that film. I know many people love Bumblebee. It's not an original answer. But there's a lot of stuff in that film that for me personally really resonates about grief and like loss of a loved one and particularly like a parental figure and that kind of stuff. And it's always just hit me really hard, that has. And particularly after the loss of my grandfather and things like that, I don't know, it's really kind of always resonated for me. And just the way her storyline kind of evolves, I don't know. I think she's great. Really well-written character in my opinion.
I'm actually, before you do your choosing, I'm taking mine back. Noah Diaz. I liked him in Rise of the Beast.
He was going to be...
He's good.
He's cool.
He's great.
He's got excellent Jordans, and he also, he has good shoe game, but he's just kind of cool and normal. He's not one of those overbearing characters.
Very effortless.
I liked him. He's my favourite human.
I would very much like to see Noah Diaz come back for a sequel.
Same.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
I think he's a great face of the franchise. Really good.
Could do humour, action, all around good character.
Both excellent choices.
Fantastic trainers, Jordan Sixers.
You're a trainer guy.
Batman Returns.
Come on then, Jay Swags. What's yours?
So mine is, is it a curveball? Don't know. But she's important.
Spike Witwicky.
No, it's Girl on the Roof from episode 2 of Generation 1 Transformers. Because she is the first female representation in the entire franchise. And
that's your favourite character.
That's my favourite character.
Now that was a curveball.
I love her.
It was a curveball.
I want that character, please, as a toy. Just that character. There you go. That's it.
Classic Jason. Yeah. I didn't expect that. You can find out all about her in Short Circuits, of course.
There we go.
Which, it's a nice little...
upsell.
Yeah. Upsell. It's a nice little mention for Short Circuits. If you haven't checked out Short Circuits, by the way, please do. It's on YouTube. You can go and find it. By this point, we've moved on to Earthspark and thoroughly loving it. And we are going to be moving back to Generation 1 and more animated and other stuff and Revenge of the Fallen eventually. So it's all going to be good.
Yeah.
That was you agreeing to it, Liam. I'm taking that as your tacit agreement there.
Nope. Just kind of ignoring it and moving on. It's not happening. We're not doing it.
And yet, you agreed.
It's happening.
Nope. Not happening. But anyway, on a more positive note, I was rummaging around in the dustbin that is our emails the other day. We had a nice one. Another query. Someone, Hope, from the Cape of Good Hope, emailed to say, it's very sunny and I'm doing a bit of sailing at the minute and I was thinking about some kind of outfit I can wear, for that. And she's like, have you got any good ideas? I was like, actually, Hope, if you head over to our Rebel at rebel.com/people/Triple Takeover/explore, we have got a Triple Takeover Smash logo, blue background, sleeveless top. That'd help you out. Get the tan on the old arms, Head over there, guys. Get some merch.
It's really funny, Liam, because I just Googling idly, and couldn't help but notice there that the weather forecast for the Cape of Good Hope at the moment is rain. Lots of rain, actually. Cloud and
she didn't just email now. I have to wade through the past. It was sunny there recently. It's always sunny there, isn't it?
Was it?
It's in South Africa. It seems
to be raining every day there at the moment. So
what, in South Africa?
Well, I'm just going by the weather forecast, mate. I can screenshot it for you if you want.
Do you remember that time Michael Fish predicted that the weather would be fine and then
Britain ended? Exactly the same, yeah. Exactly the same. 14 degrees, overcast, lots of cloud.
It is actually their winter.
Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't say when this email was from. I said I was rummaging around in there and I just saw this one. So
January.
Also,
very good, Liam. Very good.
No, that was
but
good.
Yes.
And thanks for the inquiry.
Yes, thank you, Hope, and enjoy your sleeveless t-shirt.
Yeah.
And other people, if you would like to contact us and let us know, what you think about our picks today, then you can hit us up on all the social media feeds, Twitter, Instagram, all of those places. JSwags, where can you be found?
Find me on Instagram at JSwags.
You got a website as well, Jason?
JSwags.com.
A website.
Or jasonwagner.co.uk. Spelt with a W.
Okay, very nice. You can find me anywhere. An app might also exist.
Don't you dare.
I'm not doing the same thing. It's different. Anywhere an app might also exist, there you shall find me on social media at SixoTF.
Sometimes.
And YouTube.
Sometimes. Yeah. And I'm Toybot Soapbox. Anywhere there's an at.
Sounds familiar to what I just said.
Don't you dare.
Anyway, God love them. That's the 86 Minibots for you, and a lot of other nonsense besides, but that was the real core of this topic, and we love them, don't we? Absolutely fantastic little toys. If you love them as well, hit us up on whatever social media feed you want to and tell us all about it, and otherwise, we'll catch you for the next one.
Vehicle.